The first thing we will do for this project is draw a jar of fireflies. You will be using a pencil, but I will be using a Sharpie because I want you to be able to see it in the video. First, we will start out by drawing a long, horizontal, skinny oval. It doesn't have to be perfect, just try your best. Next, we will make 2 straight lines coming down from each side of the jar. After that, we will add 1 more curve that will match the bottom of the oval that we already added. We have now created a long, flat cylinder shape. Next, we will create the rest of the jar. Make a curved line that comes down and out from each edge of the jar. Next, we will make a large U shape that will come down and create the bottom of the jar. Feel free to make any adjustments you want to your jar when you trace around the outside of it. Next, we will add the fireflies on the inside. Start by making a diagonal line. After you do that, we will turn it into a capital B. Next, we will add a U shape to connect the middle of each of the wings. This created the body of our firefly. Next, we will add a little head, and finally a couple of antennas. Add more fireflies to fill your space. If you want, you may also add some lines on the top part of your jar to show that it is where the lid would get twisted on. You do not have to add these if you do not want to. Next, we will be using a white crayon to add some stars in the background. We are going to make this look like the fireflies are glowing at nighttime, so it is a good idea to add stars in the background to give it a nighttime effect. Instead of drawing actual stars, we will just make little white dots. That is what stars actually look like from Earth. Make sure that you push a little bit hard with your crayon when you are adding your stars. Don't go too crazy with your stars, just add a little bit here and there to fill your space. When you get to Sharpieing, make sure that you fill in the heads of your fireflies. Carefully trace over all of the lines on your paper. The next step will be watercoloring. Remember that in art, when you use your watercolor tray, you leave it on top of the larger tray in the middle of your table so that everyone can use all of the colors. First, we will be painting a circle around and over the top of each one of our fireflies. I am just using water for this step. Next, I will take some blue and I will start to fill in the part of my jar. When I get to those little bubbles, I will try and make sure to leave that space alone. As blue touches the water, you will notice that it might spread out along the outside of that circle. That is just fine. You may make your blue darker by adding in more blue paint, or you can also add some black or purple. You can see where some of the stars that I made are starting to show through. Last, you will need to paint the lid of your jar. I am going to paint mine purple, but you may use whatever color you would like. Now I will stop and let this dry. The next thing we will be doing is adding a little layer of yellow that is over the top. You cannot do this step until after the blue and purple has dried. For this step, you will be painting over the entire circle and overlapping just a little bit into the blue. You will notice that where you overlap the yellow and blue, it will look just a little bit green. Notice that I only go over it once, I don't continue to paint. The more that you get the blue part wet, the more it will start to bleed into the yellow. You want to just make a quick layer on top of it. You can also add a little bit of color to the body of the fireflies if you would like. In this example, I will add a little bit of orange or red. I won't go all the way to the edge of the body because I don't want it to end up bleeding out into the glow. If you notice it is bleeding a little, you can always use a finger to gently wipe the paint back to where you would like it to be. Then be sure to wipe off your finger with a paper towel or a tissue. If you would like to make your jar look like it is shiny, you may also go back in now with a white crayon and add a little bit of shine on the edge of the paper. Do this by pushing hard with your white crayon and making a shape along the outside edge. You will have to go over it a few times for the white to really show up. Make sure that you use nice, heavy pressure. Once your yellow paint has dried, you may also go over the lines of your wings with a gold metallic marker if you would like. This will also make it look a little bit more glowy. Have fun creating your lightning bug jar!